The Alaska Highway is more than just a road, it's a symbol of resilience, connection, and survival in one of the most remote corners of North America. Stretching over 2,300 miles, it's Alaska's vital link to the rest of the United States, threading through vast wilderness and untamed landscapes. Built at breakneck speed during World War II as a military supply route, the highway was a feat of engineering and determination, carved out by thousands of soldiers and workers braving the elements. Today, it serves as the main artery for goods, fuel, and people traveling between Alaska and the lower 48, supporting everything from local businesses to families in far-flung villages. Without this crucial route, Alaska would be nearly isolated by land, cut off from the supplies and connections that sustain its communities. Every day, convoys of trucks haul essential supplies, groceries, fuel, building materials, across hundreds of miles, keeping Alaskan communities running and ensuring that even the most remote outposts have what they need to survive. The journey is tough, over 2,300 miles of rugged terrain, unpredictable weather, and dangerous conditions that test the skill and endurance of every driver. Long stretches with few services mean that preparation and self-reliance are essential for anyone making the trip. Yet despite the challenges, the highway remains the backbone of Alaska's economy and daily life. Any disruption, whether from natural disasters, political tensions, or supply chain issues, can send shockwaves through the state, leaving shelves empty and communities anxious about their future. The highway's vulnerability is unique. Much of it runs through Canada, making Alaska dependent on international cooperation for its lifeline. Now, that fact is at the center of a major international dispute, as political tensions threaten to disrupt the flow of goods and people. Alaska's lifeline is suddenly a bargaining chip in negotiations between nations, raising questions about security, sovereignty, and the future of the last frontier. The stakes for the last frontier have never been higher, as Alaskans watch and wait, hoping their vital highway remains open and their connection to the world endures. In a stunning move, British Columbia's Premier David Eby has announced heavy tolls on American trucks using the Alaska Highway. This decision has sent shockwaves through the transportation and logistics sectors, as it directly impacts a critical trade route between the United States and Canada. These aren't minor fees, they're targeted penalties that could add thousands to each trip. Trucking companies are now scrambling to reassess their budgets and routes, as the financial burden could be substantial. The message is clear: access to this critical corridor is no longer free. The tolls are designed to make a significant impact, forcing companies to reconsider their reliance on this route. Electronic tolling stations would track every commercial vehicle headed to Alaska. This sophisticated system ensures that no truck can bypass the tolls, making enforcement stringent and unavoidable. The stated goal is to offset economic damages from U.S. policies, but the real aim is clear: pressure Washington by hitting Alaska's supply chain. The tolls could lead to higher prices and shortages in Alaska, affecting everyday life. This is an unprecedented escalation, one province holding a U.S. state's economy hostage. The political ramifications are enormous, and the situation is being closely monitored by both governments. The world is watching to see how America will respond. International media outlets are covering the story extensively, highlighting the potential for a broader trade conflict. For Alaska, the cost of doing business could skyrocket overnight. Small businesses and consumers alike are bracing for the impact, as the tolls could lead to increased prices and limited availability of goods. For British Columbia, it's a bold gamble with international consequences. The province is taking a stand, but the risks are high, and the outcome is uncertain. The Alaska Highway is now a flashpoint in a growing trade conflict. This once peaceful route has become a symbol of economic tension between the two nations. The stakes are high, and the next move belongs to the United States. All eyes are on Washington to see how they will address this challenge and what measures they will take in response. The era of free passage is over. The new tolls mark a significant shift in the dynamics of North American trade, and their effects will be felt for years to come. The toll plan is direct retaliation for renewed U.S. threats of tariffs on Canadian goods. Former President Trump's calls for steep tariffs have rattled Canada's economy, which relies heavily on U.S. trade. British Columbia's toll for tariff strategy flips the script, targeting Alaska's dependence on a Canadian land route. It's a high-stakes game of economic chicken tariffs versus tolls, each side threatening the other's lifelines. For decades, the US and Canada have thrived on open trade. Now, confrontation is replacing cooperation. The risk? a spiral into a full-blown trade war, hurting businesses and consumers on both sides. Premier Eby is betting that pain in Alaska will force Washington to back down. But this could just as easily provoke a stronger U.S. response. The economic partnership is on the brink. Both countries stand to lose if escalation continues. For Alaskans, these tolls aren't abstract. They're a direct hit to daily life. Shipping costs for everything, food, fuel, medicine, would soar, and those costs would land squarely on families and businesses. Alaska already faces some of the nation's highest living expenses. This would push them even higher. Remote communities, totally reliant on trucked-in supplies, would be hardest hit. Businesses could close, jobs could vanish, and shortages could become common. Alternatives like sea or air freight are slower, pricier, and less reliable. The Alaska Highway is the backbone of the state's supply chain. Disrupting it threatens the well-being of 750,000 Americans. Alaskan leaders are demanding federal action, calling this an economic blockade by a foreign country. The pressure is now on Washington to act. Alaska's unique vulnerability is exposed for all to see. The state's future hangs in the balance. The entire nation is watching. Canada's response is a coordinated two-pronged strategy. Premier Eby plays the bad cop, imposing tolls to create immediate pain for the U.S. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Trudeau is the good cop, calling for calm and urging a return to negotiations. This lets Canada apply pressure without Ottawa directly declaring a trade war. Trudeau's diplomatic approach keeps channels open and project stability. The dual strategy is smart politics, aggressive at the provincial level, reasonable at the federal. It gives the U.S. an off-ramp back down on tariffs, and the tolls can disappear. Ottawa maintains plausible deniability, while British Columbia turns up the heat. It's a sophisticated play, combining leverage and diplomacy to defend Canadian interests. Canada is showing it can be tough and reasonable at the same time. The message: Canada won't be pushed around. While British Columbia readies its tolls, Ottawa is preparing a legislative arsenal. Trudeau's government is crafting laws to let Canada retaliate swiftly and strategically against U.S. tariffs. These measures would be flexible. Canada could raise, lower, or withdraw counter-tariffs as needed. The goal: deter escalation and keep negotiations alive. If the U.S. hits Canadian steel, Canada could target politically sensitive American exports in return. This legal framework is a bargaining chip, not just a weapon. It signals Canada is ready for a long fight if necessary, but prefers a deal. The combination of immediate provincial action and federal readiness puts real pressure on Washington. Canada is prepared for whatever comes next. This muffins mas justeriously nas spizoren. Canada will defend its interests with law and leverage. This conflict is about more than money. It's about Canadian sovereignty and pride. Many Canadians see U.S. tariffs as attempts to dictate their economic future. The toll for tariff strategy has sparked unity and resolve across Canada. It's a stand for independence, not just policy. Canada is signaling it won't be a junior partner or accept one-sided deals. The country is demanding respect and fairness in its relationship with the U.S. This is a turning point. Canada is asserting itself as an equal. The outcome will shape Canada's confidence and its place in the world. The message: Canada's destiny is its own to decide. The tolls and tariffs dispute has shaken the U.S.-Canada relationship to its core. What was once a seamless and cooperative partnership is now fraught with tension and uncertainty. Decades of trust and cooperation are at risk. The long-standing friendship, built on mutual respect and shared goals, faces an unprecedented challenge. The conflict now involves not just federal leaders, but provinces and states, making resolution harder. Local economies and communities are feeling the strain, adding layers of complexity to the issue. Two paths lie ahead: escalation and trade war, or negotiation and renewed partnership. The choices made now will have lasting impacts on both nations. Continued escalation means higher prices, lost jobs, and a chill in cross-border relations. The economic fallout could be severe, affecting industries and livelihoods on both sides of the border. But stepping back could restore trust and prove that even deep disputes can be resolved peacefully. It would demonstrate a commitment to finding common ground and rebuilding the partnership. The stakes are enormous, not just for economies, but for the bond between two nations. The cultural and social ties that bind the U.S. and Canada are just as important as the economic ones. The coming weeks will test leaders on both sides. Their decisions will be scrutinized by their citizens and the international community. The world is watching to see if cool heads will prevail. The outcome of this dispute will set a precedent for how such conflicts are handled in the future. The hope that the US and Canada choose cooperation over conflict. A peaceful resolution would reaffirm the strength of their alliance. The future of a great friendship hangs in the balance. The decisions made now will echo through generations. The next move will define the relationship for years to come. The world waits to see which path will be chosen.